Good morning. Welcome to Behind the Label. We're a special edition today. We're doing an interview at the James E. Pepper Distillery here in the Distillery District on Manchester Street in Lexington, Kentucky. This is
Jerry was talking to Schorsch, and we're actually sitting here with Aaron Schorsch, Head Distiller here at the Pepper Distillery, and we're glad to have the Jim come in here. It's gorgeous. This is probably my favorite place in Lexington. I know my wife and I, if we can, because you can do anything. And you can do anything. You can have, some pizza.
It's like an amusement park for adults.
It is an amusement park. I mean, you can visit the distilleries. There's going to be
eat whatever you want to do.
There'll be 3 distilleries here soon. I mean, you got 2
Axe throwing.
Axe throwing after you drink is always a positive.
Seems like a bad idea.
That's always a positive. So this is a great place to come. This, we love history, and this distillery here has it. It's a gorgeous distillery. And so, Aaron, what's your background? I know you worked at Seagrams.
Yes.
Beans.
Out of high school, I was like a lot of kids. I didn't really know what I wanted to do in life. I did take a tour with my middle school. We used to do these tours that would take you out. I don't know how they did it. If you didn't get in trouble, you could go on a tour, or bowling, or something silly.
I thought they were taking to a distillery.
Yeah, they did. There wasn't any real fun activities to do, so I said, I'm going to go down to Seagrams. It was a Seagrams tour we could go on. I went down there, and it was kind of a neat place, but I never really gave it much thought. We got through school, and nothing really ever caught my eye of what I wanted to do. Kind of drifted around, did a few odd jobs, and had some friends. Their father worked there, and he helped me get a job in the union there, and spent about 10, 12 years total. Back then you would get laid off season. So you might work real busy for a few months and be off and on, but I had a good 10 to 12 years there. Doing anything, rolling barrels, sweeping floors, a lot of running equipment towards the end of that time.
now where was this? You said
It's Seagrams in Lawrenceburg. It's MGP now.
Okay.
At that time it was Seagrams. One of the biggest at that time. Biggest in my opinion. I've been to a few other ones. It was the best distillery, I think, in this country. Maybe even more. Maybe you can put it out broader than that.
Well, it's still a huge producer now.
Yeah, the engineering and stuff behind it, all the equipment was set up to run. I've worked other places, and if a pump goes down, you shut down and fix it there. There was 2 pumps in place for everything. If a pump went bad, you just switched and kept going. That place was made to run. There was a lot of good thinking behind it. Worked under 2 of the better minds in this industry, and Larry Eversole and Greg Betts there. I've learned a ton from those guys. Those guys are borderline geniuses, I'd say, as far as distilling goes, maybe even beyond borderline.
So you had a good start.
Yes, absolutely.
Very good start. And then you moved on. Was it Bean then?
I actually had a little stint at Sam Adams in the middle. Seagrams went through a lot of transition through that time. It was the 3rd generation, so it was time for it to die out, right? Per tradition, and that's what happened. The Bronfman family owned it, and that generation was more interested in movies and music and television. So he kind of let the spirits industry part of it go, and then they ended up getting pieced out. Pernod Ricard and Diageo split the spirits company once they purchased it. Pernod got our plant. They operated for 3, 4, 5 years, and Dad made the decision that it wasn't something they needed, and they put it up for sale. During that time, we had chances to apply with the company or move on. At that time, the contract producing industry wasn't what it is today, so it looked pretty bleak in my opinion. I had a young family at the time, so I was ready to scoot, and at that time I was in a position at Sam Adams as a brewing supervisor. Got to work under some smart people up under there. And learn a little bit of that industry too, which is helpful. A lot of people think there's a lot of similarities. You have yeast involved, it's a whole different world.
We've done some homework. It's completely
It's
different.
a different animal.
I'm like, you take all the grain out.
Yeah, you take all the grain out, you don't you have to be really careful with the yeast and keep balance between sweetness and bitterness. And distilling, that part is actually pretty simple. You just go and get the most alcohol possible for the most part. So that part's really simple and really easy and good. I just enjoyed more of the tradition. I know there's a lot of tradition in brewing. Everything's sealed, like you're not hands in it. We got open top fermenters and you're filling barrels, and there's distillate. Everything in brewing needs to be sealed, or you get oxygen to the beer and it ruins it. So I do enjoy that part of it, but I like to be more involved in it.
Well, Sam Adams produces one of my, well, probably my, when you take out the craft, breweries, my favorite beer.
Boston Lager?
No.
No?
The Oktoberfest.
Oktoberfest. For me, it's Oktoberfest, Boston Lager. A couple of the ones that don't get lot pressed, I didn't really like the black lager pretty good. It's a drier, kind of lighter beer for being as dark as it is.
I like dark beer.
Yeah. I don't like the real heavy ones, though.
Yeah.
I don't like to feel like I had a whole meal. I want to just keep I don't want to lose steam.
Was this actually in Boston?
Cincinnati.
In Cincinnati.
Yes.
Okay.
Ken Lee, if you're familiar with Ken Lee, he was at Alltech for a while. Ken Lee was actually my boss in Cincinnati.
So you went from there to
Jim Beam. Yeah.
Okay.
I spent 4, 5, 6 years roughly at Jim Beam underneath Tom Kroon was the distillery manager down there when I was there. I believe he had a Booker's batch named after him, and also spent some time after Beam. He went over and helped start up Bardstown Bourbon Company.
Okay.
So yeah, I've been under some big names.
I know.
Had plenty of people to learn from between Tom, Greg, and Larry and those guys.
So how did Mir get you Larry to come here?
I went on the money grab from Beam and decided I was straight outside the alcohol industry, which was a mistake. And I kind of was wondering if it would be. ADM, Archer Daniels Midland, the grain company, had a couple of positions open that were more money, more responsibility, higher level. I felt like when I was at Beam, things were kind of stagnant. It was hard sometimes to move up, and the opportunities were more limited. There, I was able to make like a quick transition, get some more money and a better title and better experience. Didn't enjoy it at all. Didn't love the business. It was animal feed, which is what it is, but it's not making alcohol. It's not. There's a different group of people involved in this. It's a different fun factor involved than what you get with animal feed for sure.
And you went from, you think about that, Seagram's huge. Yeah. Sam Adams, talk about beer, huge.
Yeah.
Being huge, and then you come here to a craft distillery.
About as small as it can get compared to those places.
Yeah.
This is our still's like a tinker toy compared to the stills we operate in those places for sure.
But you're probably having more fun here.
It is more fun.
Yeah.
All those places were union, and when you're in the union, you kind of got to be doing a certain job, and you're not supposed to be doing other people's jobs and things like that for the most part. And if you're in supervision like I was at Beam, you're not supposed to be really touching anything. So I don't enjoy that. I don't like sitting behind a desk. I don't want to be involved in it. I want to be doing this stuff. As much as I have administrative duties here, I still get involved in it daily. It's important to know what's going on operationally on the floor. If you sit in the office too much, I think that there's too much room for changes in the operation based on what different operators might do or whatnot. And that's another thing. We've got a pretty small group, a real lean group. I've tried to design our process in a way where we don't need a lot of hands. If you've got 3 or 4 really efficient people, you get a lot done.
So it kind of sounds like Robert next door at the rail house. You do a lot of different hats.
Absolutely.
So
we plan my goal every day is to make sure we aren't wasting more than a couple minutes a day. So we try not to. So if there's one thing going on and one of these guys is doing one thing, then I'm probably upset because I want 2 or 3 things going on at once. You do a lot of waiting in a lot of these processes. Like if we're cutting a spirit tank, you're air agitating it for a certain amount of time. When you're air agitating, you can be doing mash samples or getting the barrels ready for the tank. And it's just a matter of maximizing all that time throughout the day. You can be really efficient. That stuff makes your day go by better too. If you're not just sitting there staring at the walls.
So what is your normal day when you come in?
My normal day right now is, with it being hotter out, we use groundwater to cool. So we got to get an early start on our cooks a lot of times to get them cooled down. So I'll come in and start to cook. I do the majority, I'd say 99% of our maintenance work too. So like if there's something maintenance-wise that needs to be done, a lot of times I'll try to tackle those tasks before we get up and running for the day. This morning I had a pump tore apart that needs a new seal in it and was working on that before we need to run today. So I'll try to get some of that stuff done, get some of my administrative work done, and then start everything up for the day.
Oh, you're really switching a lot of hats.
Yeah.
So what's your normal day? What time is there a set time you sort of come in?
I'm an early riser, so I usually prefer 7. Depending on our bottling needs, sometimes I need to be more in line with what the other guys are working to. Like we're going to be going to a pretty big bottling run soon, so I'm probably just going to have to sit around the house for a little bit more or kill some time early and start staying a little later to get get some bottling done because you need 3 or 4 people back there to really make a good time. And we've been doing, I think we're in the neighborhood of 30 or 40,000 cases last year, which is a lot for that many people. We can bang it out.
Yeah, that's what it cranking out.
So how many like barrels is per day?
As far as bottling goes,
Well, production.
production, we're about, it depends on the mash bill. Obviously with rye, a higher rye product, we get a little less yield. With our corn products, we get a little more yield. But we're anywhere from 2.5 to, I'd say 2.8 or almost 3 barrels. It just depends on, what inch you're for at, whatnot too. But yeah, at a minimum 2, but sometimes up to 3.
And just, looking behind us, you got quite a few different products.
Yeah, we do, and that's expanded a little bit too with the old pepper line, and we're also going to have this fall. We should have this. It's going to be kind of limited availability because we didn't have a lot of it put away. It was just kind of an experimental thing at first, but we like how it's turned out. We've got a rye malt and a single malt whiskey that we're gonna have available in limited supply here. It has been scaled up some for the future, and then our ryes and stuff are just a few years.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that malted dry. We
Yeah,
actually tried that
yeah,
this morning, tried a little sample, and
Yeah,
man,
definitely.
that's really good.
Yeah, and I
Coffee and rye, right?
I do love. We were talking about the bottle. That's a gorgeous bottle.
Yes.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Right up there, it's a good
Real
ride.
traditional whiskey bottle and a good product. Very limited amount of cut there at 110 proof. And I like whiskeys at higher proofs. I feel like if people want to put water in, they can add it.
They can add it.
You can always put it in. You can't take it back out.
Increase the proof. So what is the new brand that you're right now? You said your bourbon's probably a couple years
Yeah.
away or so. What's the brand going to be when you come out?
It will be the old pepper.
It will be old
similar
pepper.
similar
Okay.
to that design.
Mhm.
The main face label will look the same. There'll be different a different strip stain, a different color scheme with the different products. Like our single malt's going to be blue, for instance. So there'll be a little different color scheme to go with them.
And we just love how you all kept up with the history here
Yeah.
with the 1776. You got the Henry Clay.
Yeah, still got the Henry Clay.
Henry Clay.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't know this is originally
Yeah.
Henry Clay Distillery.
For a short period of time.
Yeah, it's a short period, so it's great.
And we've actually got a picture of this whole place that in one of our podcasts, the whole thing is just burned to the ground.
Yeah, 34.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and then the Henry Clay one, that was like a 1872.
Yeah,
that was burned.
Yeah.
And it was like 69 to 72. I guess
Yeah.
back then we do have some distillery fires in recent years, but back then if they're using open fire for a lot of stuff, I'm guessing those things are just like burning down.
I would have to
Right?
think so.
I guess the first thing you want to do is build a distillery and put fire on next to it.
Evidently.
More than likely it's going to be on fire. I guess.
And the bad thing too, the rick houses, once they catch fire,
Yeah,
you're not doing
that.
that. Yeah, so that's cool. So what do you see in the future here? Do you think is there an expansion, you think?
Years down the road, there could be. We do have capacity room here. We're a little bit limited in logistically as far as getting trucks in and out and things like that. And I think this needs to be maintained in a lot of ways as a tourist destination. And it's
I can see that more to kind of keep that brand.
Yeah.
To kind of keep the face of the brand on.
yeah.
and production.
I think if we blew up to that point, there would probably be a production focused facility
Yeah,
off
somewhere else.
site, and then we would continue to do what we're doing here. It's really nice having a distillery this size because you can throw feelers out on products and not wrap a bunch of money and a bunch of resources up in it. We can weigh up 1,700 to 2,000 pounds in a cook and get a couple barrels, and if they don't turn out well, you don't really have a lot in it. Now, if you got 10,000, 20,000 gallon cookers and you're doing these little experiments, they can get pretty ugly pretty quick. And I think it's important that this place runs functionally regardless of what would go on in another distillery, because I think everybody's probably seen some distilleries that don't function day to day. They're more, I guess, just practicing. Distilling. We're manufacturing stuff every day. They're coming in and seeing active fermentations and not, things that are just kind of waiting to be run through the still as a display or whatnot.
We're excited. Like I said, I'm anxious to see when that malted rack comes out.
Yeah.
Trying to come down and snack.
Try to grab one.
Yeah.
I can only think of, there may have been 2 or 3 different days where we've actually been not running when the tours come through, and it's because something broke. That morning.
That you had to fix.
There have been literally times when tours have walked through that storeroom, and I've been on a lift up there working on stuff as they were going through. But maybe we've had one day that we've down completely. Other than that, it was like just part of a day where I fixed something, I stayed late to get it going for the next day. But yeah, we pride ourselves on that. We want people to get, I mean, people come through, they don't want to see still just sitting there, not anything going through. They want to see that match splashed. And we've got those nice good sized windows on the front of there. People want to see stuff at work. They don't like to see still equipment, just sitting there idle.
Well, it's a great tour though too. I mean, Rachel and her team.
Yeah, they absolutely do a wonderful
Great
job.
tours here, so if you get a chance, you can come down here. Like I said, this is the place to visit. You could spend, it is an amusement park.
Yeah.
You can spend all day here.
But yeah, especially for those of you that are watching that are from, not either from Lexington or Kentucky or even the United States, if you really want a good bourbon experience, good Central Kentucky experience, this little area here couldn't beat it with everything you could think of.
Come down and you'll probably see Aaron.
Yeah.
And working on the stiller. Yeah.
Yeah, so hey, I saw you on the video.
Yeah. And there's like I said, there's a lot going on. There's a cidery over there. They've got the axe throwing place. There's a lot going on down here. And that brick house has started to develop a lot of different little businesses in there. So it's a lot of growth.
Yeah. So we just want to thank you.
Yeah.
We know you're busy.
No, I'm glad you guys were.
We probably kept you from fixing something else.
Appreciate the samples and
Yeah,
look forward to seeing those a little later.
Yeah.
Well, thank you
All
very
right,
much.
thank you guys.
Thank you.
Yep.